Be prepared. Tomorrow, February 19th, 2026, isn't just the day after the Sun entered Pisces. It's not just the day before the Saturn-Neptune conjunction. Tomorrow is the day that download becomes legible. Most people will wake up feeling strangely clear and assume it's just a good day. They'll completely miss that their entire operating system was quietly rewritten while they slept. But you won't miss it. Because if yesterday the universe dissolved your blocks and delivered the download, then tomorrow is when you open your eyes and actually read what was written. This is the day the whispers become words. The feelings become instructions. The fog lifts just enough for you to see the first 3 steps of your new path. If you have been waking up with strange thoughts already in your head, or if your first instinct upon opening your eyes is no longer dread but something quieter, something like curiosity, keep watching. Tomorrow is the in-between day, the pause between demolition and construction, the breath between question and answer. And in that pause, something incredibly rare happens. Your conscious mind catches up to your soul. For the past 48 hours, your higher self has been downloading information at a speed your normal consciousness couldn't process. That's why you've been emotional. That's why you've been zoning out. That's why your dreams have felt like feature films. Your conscious mind, the part that makes grocery lists, has been offline, running background updates. But tomorrow, the updates finish installing. When you open your eyes on February 19th, you won't just have new information. You'll be a different operating system entirely. On February 18th, the Sun entered Pisces at 11 a.m. That was the ignition point, the moment the divine download began transmitting. But downloads don't arrive all at once. They stream, they buffer, they assemble piece by piece until finally the complete file is there. Yesterday was the beginning. Tomorrow is when the file finishes transferring. Here's the astrological reason why. Mercury. At 2:47 p.m. tomorrow, Mercury sextiles Uranus in Taurus. Mercury is the translator. Uranus is the awakener. Taurus is the physical world. A sextile is an open door, the universe saying, here's the information, and here's the gentle nudge to apply it. What this means is simple but profound. The insights that felt vague and mystical on the 18th will become practical and applicable on the 19th. That creative idea. Tomorrow you'll know the first step to making it real, that relationship realization. Tomorrow you'll know exactly what conversation needs to happen, that career confusion. Tomorrow you'll see the pattern so clearly you'll wonder how you ever missed it. The mystical becomes mechanical, the spiritual becomes strategic, the download becomes a to-do list. For days you've been dipping into theta, the brain frequency between waking and sleeping, the state of super-learning and accelerated insight, those moments of staring into space. Theta, those weirdly vivid dreams. Theta. Tomorrow, under Mercury sextile Uranus, your brain begins to integrate what it received in theta. Insights move from subconscious to conscious. You'll remember dreams with unusual clarity. You'll have ideas that feel like they came from somewhere else because they did. And here's the most important part. These insights will feel obvious. They won't feel like revelation. They'll feel like remembering something you always knew. They'll land so softly you might dismiss them. You might think that's just common sense. And that's exactly how you know they're real. Divine downloads don't arrive with trumpets. They arrive as quiet knowing, as the answer hiding in plain sight, waiting for your frequency to rise high enough to see it. Revelation 1. The body knows. Your body becomes a source of information. You might suddenly know what food you actually need, feel a sudden urge to move in a new way. Experience. Cellular knowing, a sense deep in your bones that something is either aligned with your truth or violently opposed to it. Pay attention to your body tomorrow. It's communicating. Revelation 2. The resource map. You may suddenly understand something about your finances that's been confusing you. A way to save money you never noticed. A new income stream right in front of you. You might also experience resource recognition, looking at something you already own and suddenly seeing its value differently. That book, that skill, that connection. Tomorrow, the universe shows you what you already have and helps you see it as enough. Revelation 3. The relationship truth. This one might sting. You may find yourself seeing someone with startling clarity. A friend whose patterns you've been excusing. A partner whose behavior you've been rationalizing. On February 19th, the sun moves into the second degree of Pisces, the Sabian symbol, a squirrel hiding from hunters. At first glance, this seems like fear, but look closer. The squirrel isn't hiding because it's afraid of life. It's hiding because it's protecting something valuable. Because discernment is not the same as fear. Tomorrow isn't about broadcasting your revelations. It's about guarding what's been revealed. The hunters are the energies that would steal your breakthrough, outer skepticism, the inner critic telling you you're making it all up. The squirrel knows to stay quiet, to hold its treasure close. Tomorrow, you're the squirrel. And the treasure is the download itself. Don't explain it to people who can't receive it. Don't defend it to people who doubt it. Protect it. Let it solidify before you show it to the world. Because on February 20th, when Saturn meets Neptune, you're going to need that treasure as the blueprint for everything you build next. They'll wake up feeling clear. They'll get the download. And then they'll immediately ruin it two ways. First, they'll overthink it. They'll take the simple, obvious truth and make it complicated. They'll analyze it, question it, run it by 5 people, and drain all the life out of it. Second, they'll wait. They'll decide to act someday, when timing is better, when they feel more ready. But downloads expire, not because the universe takes them back, but because the energy that delivered them moves on. The insights that feel obvious tomorrow will feel fuzzy in a week. This is why the squirrel hides but doesn't sleep. It protects its treasure, but it's also ready to move the moment the hunters pass. Tomorrow, be both, protective of what you've received and ready to act the instant the next window opens. That window opens on February 20th. On February 20th, Saturn and Neptune conjoin at 0 degrees Aries, the Great Reset, the moments when the dream becomes the blueprint. But here's the catch: you can't build from a vague vision. If all you have is a feeling, Saturn has nothing to work with. If all you have is a dream, Neptune can't crystallize it into form. Tomorrow is when the vision becomes specific. The feeling becomes a sentence. The dream becomes a goal. And then on the 20th, you start building. This is the sequence. This is the choreography. The download arrives on the 18th. It becomes legible on the 19th. You start building on the 20th. Miss the 19th, miss the clarity, and you'll build from a blurry blueprint. Pay attention tomorrow, and you'll build something that lasts for the next 36 years. First, wake up slowly. Don't reach for your phone. Lie still for 5 minutes. The download often completes in the final moments of sleep. Your first waking thoughts are not random. Second, capture everything. Keep a notebook by your bed. Write it down immediately. Don't edit. Don't judge. Third, move slowly. This is not a day for rushing. Take a walk without a destination. Sit with your tea and stare out the window. The download continues to arrive throughout the day, but only if you're present. Fourth, notice what feels obvious. If an insight lands and your first thought is, well, obviously, pay attention. Those obvious truths are the most important. They're the ones you've been avoiding. Fifth, protect your energy. Don't share your revelations with everyone. Not yet. Share only with people who can hold space without judgment. Your job tomorrow is to receive, not to convince. Sixth, prepare for the 20th before sleep. Ask yourself, what is the smallest possible action I can take on February 20th to begin building what I've received? Write down the answer. That's your first step. Days like February 19th feel peaceful, clear, like the storm has passed. And in that peace, it's easy to forget the storm was necessary. Easy to relax so completely that you lose momentum. Easy to receive the download and put it on a shelf where it can't disrupt your life. That's the choice. Will you treat the download as information or as instruction? Will you file it away as a beautiful experience, or let it become the foundation of everything that follows? On February 20th, construction begins. The only building materials available are the insights you protected on the 19th. If you protected nothing, you build nothing. If you protected everything, you build everything. You've been waiting a long time. Maybe years. Maybe decades. You've known something was coming, something that would finally make sense of your life. You've had glimpses, flashes, but they never lasted. Tomorrow, that changes. Not because the fog lifts forever, but because, tomorrow, you receive something solid enough to hold on to when the next fog rolls in. Something clear enough to navigate by. Something true enough to build on. The download you've been waiting for your entire life. It's been loading since February 6th. Tomorrow, February 19th, 2026, it finishes. The question isn't whether it will arrive. The question is whether you'll be awake enough to read it. Tomorrow night, you'll close your eyes, knowing something you didn't know this morning. You'll have a sentence in your mind that wasn't there before, a direction, a next step, a truth you can't unknow. And on February 20th, when Saturn meets Neptune at the Aries point, you'll wake up with that sentence in your heart and that direction in your bones. And you'll start. Not perfectly, not confidently, not with all the answers, but you'll start. And starting is everything.